You're not waking up exhausted because you slept badly. You're waking up exhausted because your nervous system never truly settled down overnight. And every human body, healthy or exhausted, releases this wave of cortisol within the first 30 minutes after waking. It's called the cortisol awakening response. And in a regulated nervous system, this surge feels useful. It feels like the energy that you need to do the things that you have to do for the day. But in a system that's chronically depleted and overwhelmed all the time, that same surge of energy leaves you feeling like you have no time, like you need to get everything done right now or you're going to implode. And so where's the time to sit down and do a 30-minute yoga practice when your body feels like it's an emergency all the time? And if you've been trying to fix this with more sleep, with better pillows, with some kind of fancy looking eye mask or magnesium before bed, that's like trying to calm a tide after it's hit the harbor. That's why it hasn't actually worked. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact mechanism behind why you feel so overwhelmed, why you feel so exhausted each morning, and I'm going to give you 3 specific things that you can do before you get lost in the scroll each morning so that you can actually teach your body to receive the morning instead of fight it. So let's dive in. So if people with a calm nervous system experience that same wave of energy that I told you about, then why is it just like something that topples you and flattens you every single day? I want you to picture a harbor, yeah? So in a settled harbor, a harbor that has no big waves, the morning tide comes in and the boats just rise to the surface. Nothing dramatic happens. But if that harbor is already churning under the background, the waves never settled overnight, that same tide that arrives on top of chaos. And now the water is coming over that seawall, into the buildings, into everything. The tide didn't get bigger, it's just that the harbor was already full. And that is your morning. Burnout means your nervous system never truly stood down overnight. So an ordinary morning surge of energy, which is supposed to feel like good energy, the energy that's useful, lands on a system that's already running on high. So it's normal chemistry, but it's arriving to this unsettled harbor. And this is why more sleep or that supplement hasn't actually fixed it yet. The tide doesn't care how long you lay in bed, it cares how settled the water was when it arrived. And even if you sleep for 9 hours, let's say, and your system is constantly anxious in the background, it delivers that same overflowing feeling in the morning as if you only slept for 6 hours. So instead of focusing on more hours of sleep or more time at the harbor, so as it were, why don't we start creating calmer waters? Why don't we focus on the harbor itself? And if you're new here, I'm Sushmitha, but you can call me Sushi. I've been traveling and teaching for the last 10 years. This is my only job. I've never done anything else. And I've had times where I've had to roll out my mat in parks, in small hotel rooms, on the floor of a classroom. And I've been so lucky to receive this practice that has helped me keep my inner reserves, my inner bank from overflowing. And the practice of Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga is traditionally done early in the mornings. And for years I assumed that this was just about discipline culture. The people that did it were just signaling to each other about how yogic they were. They were waking up at 4, practicing 6 days a week, and they were just doing this to suffer and be better than the others. But as I learned and as I grew up with this practice, I realized it's not so much about just being disciplined. It's not just about being that Ashtangi. It's actually about inner tide management. But of course, we live in times when this can be impossible to prioritize a yoga practice. We have kids, we have jobs, we have other things to do. But I've coached hundreds of busy women inside my program for years. And I can tell you that you don't actually need 90 minutes to do the primary series every morning. But bare minimum, you need to follow the arc that the primary series presents to us. So you need to do some specific moves in a specific order, and you need to complete it before your inbox takes precedence. So let's dive into it. Step number 1, before you even sit up, do not check social media while you're horizontal after just turning off your alarm. Trust me, don't do this. Because in the first 30 minutes after waking, your body is transitioning from that deep sleep state into a waking state. So you really need to help your mind transition slowly. And if you start scrolling the news or looking through emails, that's almost like adding a storm on top of the incoming tide of energy that your body is already creating. So I want you to play a single chant. Now, I'm going to give you a recommendation. You don't have to follow this chant, but it's the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. It's the entire thing, all of the verses. It only takes about 30 minutes, and I've linked that in the description below. The Sanskrit language is so beautiful, and it really forces you to focus. Now, best is like you actually read the verses and you follow it along. But if you have to get the kids ready, if you got to get on with your day, just play it in the background and have that be the thing that helps you transition from sleep to waking. And this way, you're not actually fighting that tide of energy. It's almost like you're feeling that surge as it arrives, and you're allowing that to meet something more settled, like a chant. Okay, step number 2. Let the surge move you. I want you to let that energy that comes move you on purpose. Now, that cortisol that you feel, that is energy. And energy that isn't spent somehow ends up curdling into anxiety. Now, instead of sitting there with just scrolling with your hands on your head and feeling all of these things until some emotional reel moves you, just move your body. If the tide has nowhere to go, it will make the dread feel worse. So 5 minutes of slow but strong movement. You can do sun salutations if you're familiar with it, or if not, you can just literally do some spinal movements. So raise your arms up, touch your toes, raise your arms up again. So literally that simple. And I want you to do that with breath a couple times. Just keep doing it until the energy that's stuck in your shoulders, in your neck, that actually moves you. Now, I'm not asking you to do a full workout at the crack of dawn. I'm just saying, let that energy just carry the boat instead of remaining tied to the harbour, unable to move. And when you feel that urge to move, let it move through you organically. If you don't want to do something structured, don't do something structured. And somehow I find that after years of moving like this, you spend that energy first thing in the morning, you somehow get it back for the rest of your day. It's funny, and I don't know how to explain it, but trust me, it works. Step number 3, end it, seal it, finish it. Now, this is the piece that most people skip. If you have a busy mind, I know you're tempted to skip it, but this is the part that also is the most important for you. 2 minutes. 2 minutes of complete stillness. Now, you can close your eyes and sit down, you can lie down, you can look out a window and do nothing else, but don't just be like, oh, I'm quickly just checking my phone, I'll play something in the background, nothing. You need to be able to show your nervous system the full arc. So you actually activated that energy, you used the chant, you moved through it, and now you're letting it settle. Now, I believed for years that rest was something that I only deserved after I finished everything. I never really chose it. I only ever collapsed into it. And at the end of a long week, after teaching 15 hours of classes, my body literally forced me to rest. And I'll tell you this from experience, collapse is not real recovery. It's not something that you need to be proud of. It's not something that you need to say, oh, I'm so grateful and happy that I can push through these things. Actually, resting is a practice. Resting on purpose when your body is not yet desperate for it, that is a true power. And when I started to do this, my capacity for life, for people, for making videos like these actually began to expand. I learned to let go on purpose, and that brought me so much energy. And so a body that rehearses this arc, the surge, the use, and the settle, starts to trust you. And the mornings start feeling like, oh my gosh, everything needs to be done right now, and you'll slowly start to settle. So here's how you know it's actually working. Don't ask, do I feel good in the mornings yet? Your feelings will take a long time to catch up. Instead, ask, at what time does that fog, does that weight in my mind really truly lift? Right now, it may be 11 o'clock before you feel human. In a couple of weeks, this could become 9 o'clock, then 8 o'clock. And then suddenly you will notice on a random Tuesday when you're driving, oh wait, I just drove out of the house. I didn't feel that sense of heaviness in the morning. And that is the victory. So don't wait for the feeling. Just watch the clock every morning and say, has the weight actually lifted? And mark that time. And if the mornings feel still flat and you still feel you're not able to do anything about it, or if you feel the opposite where you feel like your mind is just racing, these are actually versions of burnout, and there's something that you can do about it. There is a 2-minute quiz that's pinned at the top of the comments. It's also in the description below, that actually tells you if you're running the wired kind or the flat shutdown kind. Basically, it has like different protocols that you can use. So comment the word reset or check the description below. It's got everything you need and I will send it to you. But just remember, like, the tide is anyway going to come tomorrow morning, right? You wake up, you're going to feel that surge of energy. But for the first time ever, you actually know what to do about it. So thank you so much for watching till the very end. I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.